irascible.
I mean, technically you weren't wrong though. We didn't know anything.
Yeah, I mean you guys weren't great, but at the same time, you know, Han wasn't exactly the greatest game. Certainly not the greatest community, but
yeah, that's
where I came from. Still a lot of friends from that era. I mean, kind of scary to think that it's been a decade. But
when Han trash was first a thing, and then within a couple years, it was considered a compliment because everybody that came from Han was actually really good.
A lot of some TI winners.
Yeah, absolutely. So T1 versus Lions, this is a lower bracket, so a little bit surprised to see both these teams in there this early on, as we're seeing a little posturing here.
And speaking of Han trash, you know, Limp and Hanskin still S4 even all made their bones back in the day, and it's really fun as well to see Limp, one of the best Pebbles, still playing Tiny. I like,
you're right.
You know, the last pick. We did this for a while back in Complexity as well. If you're ever in doubt, you don't know what to pick for Limp, just give the man Tiny. He will certainly perform. But I had Alliance coming into the series. I think it'll be quite close, expected a 2-1. And thus far, I think Clinkz is just the best hero in the game. And until somebody loses, I don't really know how to beat the hero. Nico should have a very nice time down bottom, and I'm concerned for 23 Savage in the late game, because if you don't get on top of the Clinkz immediately, you're going to have some serious trouble.
So talk to me, is it just Burning Barrage, or some other changes made to this hero that makes him super broken?
It's the Burning Barrage. Your ultimate is a built-in steroid, right? Like, it's you get 1,000 health and 120 damage once you have Shard. You just eat the skellies that spawn after you come out of Invis. Invis effectively gives you 0 downtime, so you clear a wave with Barrage, and then boom, you pop a Haste Rune, and you go to wherever you want to go, whether that's a gank or an ancient stack. But most importantly, and it's something Effie's been saying all week that I agree with, we nerfed a lot of these ancient takers, but ancients are still very strong. That taking stacks is what you want your carry to be able to do. So we see a lot of Sven and Clinkz, which Clinkz is actually better than Medusa at clearing stacks. Like, I know that sounds insane, but until Deuce has like 3 items, Clinkz does it faster.
No, I believe it. I've seen it, of course. But, I mean, it's actually an interesting concept, though, because you're talking about carries that are able to take Ancients now that couldn't before. There's also supports. A lot of things are being added to the game to be able to clear waves. It feels like everybody, and this is something I talk to Synderen about all the time, and he's not a big fan, and I am. I'm sure it's polarizing to a degree across the community, but everybody's just getting more farm in general. Do you like that type of gameplay? As we're going to see a Burrow Strike here into White Mana.
Wow.
That is going to be a first blood for Alliance.
Really well played.
Savage getting forced out, too.
It's a really nice job by S4 there, going for the Caustic on point 2. And just kind of a misplay there. You have to be very respectful of the wave once SK hits all of those creeps. The explosion damage is very powerful. You can see it there. And the slow, you just can't stand against that. So, you know, Monkey King definitely favored in this lane, but Skywrath kind of equalizes a bit because you enable your Sand King to have that offensive threat. So he can hit creeps and trade aggressively with the supports and the Sand King.
Yeah, going for it again. Whitemon just TP'd here. It's already at very low HP.
Has 2 salves, though.
It's true. He's come prepared this time around. I mean, in terms of mid matchups, I mean, obviously Tiny is not the most common mid, but like you said, Limp, it's pretty standard for him. Throughout pretty much every patch, I want to say. What do you think of Lesh versus Tiny as a mid matchup and as a whole, though?
I mean, you're going to trade, right? Limp, it's how it looks. We're slight CS advantage, perhaps, for the Tiny, because you have a big base damage edge, but you're going to be out harassed. You have 0 armor at level 6. You know, things become a lot easier for you. But it really comes down to who gets the rotation, because both heroes likely get a kill with any +1.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
It looks like a courier was taken out in the meantime, but the thing I love about Tiny, and we talk about, not to bring up Heroes of North again, but basically the standard play back then was you just do the Avalanche Toss, Blink Dagger, and you just blow people up. As we're going to see, potential kill again here onto Handskin. Looks like the proc is there for 23 Savage. The Burrow Strike is going to keep them at bay. Handskin gets outranged by the quote-unquote melee hero in Monkey King. But what type of build are you hoping to see for Limp? Like, how much has it changed throughout this, the history of this hero?
I mean, it's really the same. The one thing Limp has always been better at than pretty much anybody else in the game is recognizing when to combo from max damage, when to slow combo for max disable, and when to play for tossbacks. And I think the tossback specifically is what makes this core Tiny so powerful. It's another reason I think Magnus has been seeing a lot more use, just because Skewer is suddenly this like better than RP-esque kill potential.
Right. It's like a hook that is a little bit more consistent, especially once you get Blink.
And I really think you just play it the same way in a sense. You know, Blink, I like the Echo Saber. I think some games you end up going for a Midas. But either way, it's just all about maximizing the combination damage.
Yeah.
Very tanky hero, too. You get 12 armor at level 6. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, for sure.
60%.
But the fact that you can kind of scale into the late game now with the Shard, right, and just go like more right-clicky with Daedalus. You can even go to like Aghanim Scepter super late game or something to that degree. Pretty cool. So I'm hoping to see more of Tiny than we have been. I feel like it's a little bit underrepresented.
Yeah. The problem is you're very reliant on the Blink Dagger. You know, you have a similar play style in a way to the Bat Rider, but, you know, Bat grabs bots, you can farm a lot faster, and Tiny's issue is that if you don't have that snowball start, your hero just kind of falls off. You don't farm stacks very effectively, you don't push waves very effectively. It's all about kill potential. It is quite nice when paired up with a hero like Clinkz, though. Just so much burst damage threat. Clinkz finds somebody from Invis, pop with the combo, barrage on top.
Right. Now, for Alliance, something that the panel was kind of talking about, which is kind of obvious that we've seen so many times already, is just the Clinkz Omni Knight combo. But right, T1's lineup doesn't seem that bad against Omni Knight, especially against GA. They just have a lot of magic damage, burst damage in particular.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Omni can struggle specifically against these high damage and high CC supports. T1, I think, like, if you look at the raw damage output, right, they're a lot less focused around burst. They're going to have some significant sustained damage within fights. Alliance, it's a lot more about finding pickoffs right off the bat with a combo and a Clinkz, maybe a Sand King stun with the Mystic Flare on top. And your tower damage is somewhat limited. Nico Baby's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting, whereas I think T1, it's going to be easier for them to capitalize on kills to find objectives.
Now 23 Savage gets the Jingu off. Let's heal him to a very high degree as S4 limping away. Looks like he's going to be fine, though. So another Arcane Bolt comes in for Whitemon. So just trading harassment here and there. What about Monkey King's game? Do you think this is a... I mean, you talked about how Clinkz will outcarry him theoretically, but how does Monkey King feel in a game like this overall?
You do all right once you get, like, your third item. I am actually surprised how well top's going after they lost the first blood. You can see Hanskin just with the double null. He's just spamming damage into this lane, but still just fine for 23 Savage, and it gets much easier for you as time progresses. You're gonna have plenty of sustain now, and I like that they're just keeping lane control, and S4 is gonna have some serious difficulties contesting. He's probably gonna need to look to back lane or just jungle.
Yep, when in doubt, go jungle with Sand King. No problem there. Carl took a bunch of camps in the meantime in his jungle as he in terms of net worth, doing quite well. In fact, T1 as a whole looks like they're leading slightly with the top 3 net worth cores in the game right now.
Yep. Very nice laning phase. Top's actually doing incredibly well.
Ancient Seal with the Avalanche. There's the toss combo, and down goes Carl.
A needed kill. You can't really do much anymore top for Hanskin. They even kill the ward.
Ancient Seal, one of the best one-of spells in the game, I have to say. Long Silence gets magic amp. Anytime you have a hero like Tiny that can just burst damage, just complements so well together. As we see a pig pole picked up by Sand King.
Oh,
Great
no.
to see. You a big fan of this neutral item? As we're going to see the Ancient Seal impact. It's a single target spell, guys. It's not that difficult. The Avatos was a little bit harder. Thank you, production. Pig pole. What's your rating?
I think it's a decent item. I think you personally overrate it.
I never said it was even good. I like the idea. The concept is amazing.
It's a self-hex,
as an item. It's
But it's mischief. You know, Monkey King does that. He turns into a tree.
Right. But with micro buffs, it can become very strong because now Mischief has the Shard, which does... I don't think I've seen it in a competitive game yet, but sounds really good. I'm
sure we will. I think it's, you know, in a hard carry monkey game like this, if you were to take second Roche, it's really good on Lesh. You might give it to him, but
yeah,
I think it's just something that you'll see, you know, TI time, you know, Topson, 40, 50 minutes in, suddenly he's, you know, disjoining some huge stun into a BKB. It's possible.
I mean, half a second, that's pretty long, actually. Yeah. That's going to set up some pretty high plays for sure. As you can see, Nico Baby has a Soul Ring and going for Maelstrom, it looks. I mean, is there like a standard build that you just see literally every game, or is it some wiggle room?
Well, what's interesting about Clinkz is you typically don't max your arrows at the moment. You get max barrage, of course, but even Windwalk early on. I'm surprised to see the Soul Ring, but it's probably just because it's side lane Clinkz. Mid Clinkz typically I see with Bottle, but it's nice because you effectively Soul Ring and use ult, and you're now full health.
Is under attack.
Run around, plus 80 damage, something like that. Good smoke here from Alliance. They'd really love to kill 23 Savage. Look at a deep ward up as well. With the Arcane Ring, this is a guaranteed kill if they can land the opener, but 23's got lane control.
Yep, S4 is going to get set up with the Avalanche. He's actually proccing his...
What?
Oh, actually cancels the Epicenter for now. They're going to have to focus on the Lion instead, so consolation prize, but 23 Savage will survive as a result.
It was very strange. I guess
I thought they were going to do like a toss into Burrow or something like that.
Well, I just don't know
Speaking
if
of which, toss from Mr. Limp onto the poor Leshrac, although he has his Pulse Nova going. Looks like he's fine, actually.
Nice toss back. Very odd. 23 only had 1,000 health, so I think he's just dead in like a stun and spell combination, but they felt they needed the Epi and changed targets once they realized it would not be able to land.
A double damage snag here from Zephyr is... Okay, Tumbler Toy. Do you like that one better than
cool.
Pickball?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely has some higher value because you can go up high terrain or whatever without getting hit.
It's like a DIY Force Staff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Except you can't use it when you get hit, right? So it's... I mean, it's a tier 1 item.
Yeah, but it's a 7-minute Force Staff, right?
Yeah, true.
It's a free kill.
All right, Carl and company. Looks like they'll find an easy one on FNG.
Yeah, this is the power of the Leshrac, because you plus any support in this game is a kill. But more importantly, because you get that kill, you can just run at the off lane now, force Nico Baby out of it. And this is the real benefit of the T1 lineup. They can get these quick kills and then immediately look to take towers. Really early Hood on S4.
Yeah,
Tough to push into the Sandstorm.
Try to prevent this from being a free tower for T1. He
wow.
actually gets the Epicenter into the Burrow with only 1 TP coming. Does a lot of damage to Carl, but might be in some trouble himself. FNG gets off the Purification, so it looks like he's good to go. Oh, Mystic Flare actually whiffs there. Carl just steps around the trees. And the Primal Roar used as well just to try to get away. Looks like they'll be successful, though.
Really nice job by... I love the new style of Dota. You know, Alliance, they bring these heroes, they pop Epi all these spells, and a kill would have been nice, but they're just defending the tower, right? It's Catapult Wave, and you don't overextend. Even T1, right? Lina was farming mid in the meantime, 23 Savage was still top, and Alliance also had heroes in those lanes. Like, it's no over-rotation. Both squads escape unscathed. I'm a little worried, though. I mean, Alliance, you're just letting the Monkey King free farm, now top net worth. Although I will say 23 has done a great job of controlling his safe lane. If he's pushing this into tower, he dies to any 2 stuns, right? The reason he lived top on that initial smoke rotation was because Alliance were forced to dive tower to land these abilities, and it's all because he's just static farming the lane. You can even see in the heat map, like, he's barely getting close to the river, let alone away from his tower. And still close game, relatively slow, but I think things will pick up once Limp finishes the item. He's gotten his quick buy.
Pretty close. Doesn't want to take any chances on that rune since he is so close, like you said. But yeah, again, that's how Tiny works. Very snowball type hero, and I mean, if he doesn't get a bunch of kills once this Blink Dagger comes about, is that like worst case scenario here for Alliance? Is that like 100% needed for the game plan to work?
In a way, if you want to like look up the items, even you can see Alliance. Hang on.
All right, Nico Baby getting initiated on by 23 Savage into the trees. There's the dust. It just clips him. They do have some vision here thanks to the tree line here. Laguna Blade, and that is going to be enough. Down goes Nico Baby.
Nice kill.
So 23 Savage, just a completely free game right now. Has that Echo Saber, going to be going for Deso next.
Yeah, this lane ward just paying huge dividends. That's why they get that kill, and it'll even set up for a free D ward that Whitemon collects. But the thing about Alliance's lineup right now, they're investing a lot of this early gold into Blink Daggers. There's no stats on this item. It doesn't help you farm faster. It's just about initiating, finding pickoffs. You're going to have one on Sand King, one on Tiny at about the same timing. Meanwhile, T1, they're going stat items. Their cores are just building to be stronger. They're going to get use out of these items whether or not they're fighting enemies. And you got to be a little concerned if you're Alliance, because you're just falling further behind in terms of the map control.
Yeah.
And you're in a position where I think you're going to need to find kills. They haven't played Clinks the same way, say, PSG LGD did, leaning on ancient stacks for Clinks.
I'm not sure if they saw that smoke with the vision from the boar, but there's the Blink Dagger. He was purposely not delivering it just so he could use this as a surprise tactic as Limp onto the high ground he goes. Really needing to find some kills here for Alliance. Already at a 2K net worth deficit. Oh, they eat the tree. Mystic Flare. That'll be enough. 23 Savage gets wrecked.
Yeah, they're gonna definitely know there's probably a ward there, but Limp was quick. He might have seen it even without.
Yeah, they're going to find yet another kill, this time on a support Zephyr in all likelihood. Yep, the Avalanche is there to slow them down, toss back, but there's the Roar to counteract it, and there's the Heavenly Grace to completely dispel, which is obviously the reason that this hero is so good against Beastmaster. And honestly, that's the biggest reason you pick the hero. It's just that one spell, feels like.
Well, it's really nice. Like, it's first off undispellable, so there's really nothing you can do to even. Your draft has to plan around Heavenly Grace. There's nothing you can do to defeat it, and even if you pre-do it, you know, don't wait for the Roar. The status resist is so impactful that it feels just as good, if not better, because you also get that huge HP boost to your max before the spell would land, and another smoke.
And there we go. This is what we're talking about. Blink Dagger online for Limp. That is several kills afterwards. It's only been like a minute and a half, I feel like. Yep. You can see the damage already done. #1 in the game for Limp.
Yep. A big part of this is just because they were able to defend that tier 1 bottom. You know, I've watched that Jenkins video now like 7 times. When that tier 1 safe lane dies, your whole jungle gets a lot more difficult to play. And because it's still alive, they're just sitting S4 there, and it forces T1 to stay on their side of the map.
You know, those Jenkins videos, you can tell he's trying really hard to not sound like a degenerate. He's over-enunciating everything, and he sounds weird.
He does.
I'm not used to him speaking like a normal human being, you know?
Me neither.
Very educational, though, if you can get past that abrasive
in green rooms, it's always about how he went 1-in-17 on Venom.
Yeah, it's the 1-in-17 every time. That's true.
But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, Alliance, they're playing the draft the way it has to be done, making some space for Nico Baby, who's now top net worth. But T1, don't count him out. They have some pretty incredible team fight, too. And they've yet to use Finger or Laguna. Both are ready.
That's true.
Somebody's going to get bopped.
We have TP support coming in. S4 gets a burrow, but there's the Impale shortly after from Whitemon. Wukong's command and the GA to follow. They just disengage now. Couple TPs coming in. I hear a Roar on the other side, but Cuckoo's all by himself. The barrage and the toss is going to be enough to take him out in the meantime. Epicenter completely wasted as the Wukong command finally comes to an end. And this tier 1 tower likely will fall one way or the other.
Hey, you take that if you're Alliance. Nice fight. Just unfortunate. I think if 23 Savage, he leapt away, afraid of perhaps getting his tree cut again, but if he stays there, Wukong's immediately, perhaps that'll go better for them. But you can see the way that Alliance plan to use GA. It's just a counter to the ultimate of the Monkey King, and there's no offensive dispel for T1. It's going to be a problem with the lineup.
Well, there is a neutral item that'll allow you to...
Oh my god, yeah.
Is that a tier 4,
Witch
I
Bane?
believe? No, is it that one?
Yeah.
God, I can't remember. Sure. We'll just assume. That's the one that does like extra magic damage too, or something like based on your int, right? Yeah, there's some weird... Still got to get used to some of those. It's interesting though, because they got rid of a bunch of the items that felt like they were just either useless or amazing, and there's like no in between. That one feels like one of those potentially.
This is a... Oh yeah. You'd love to see it. The ancient stacking.
Yep. Beautifully done from Nico Baby, completely decimating those stacks of ancients with the burning barrage.
And it's the reason he's ahead of his counterpart, right? 23 Savage, you know, as a monkey, you don't really take stacks. You're forced to farm lanes, farm woods, and maybe find some kills. And things are going to get a little concerning once Nico gets the Scotty.
So the fact that it procs items, obviously the Maelstrom Scotty makes a lot of sense. Like, do you go for like Daedalus or something like that? I mean, it's like 60% of the
Daedalus,
base damage.
that's why it's kind of busted, to be honest. Like, you know, Medusa Split Shot only applies modifiers at level 25. Clinks just does it with his Q.
Yeah.
The whole game.
I mean, the difference is it's based on the percentage of your base damage as opposed to like Pangolier, where it's a fixed damage. So yeah, you can proc like MKB, but like Daedalus is garbage on him, for example. Although I've tried it, and it did work, technically.
Not surprised.
Yeah, at my bracket, of course.
It's a Path of Guardians build.
You get a little bit more farm for that. But that's true.
Another smoke from Alliance.
Yep, 4-man smoke, no clinks within it. At least not at the moment.
He's pushing top tier 2, though. Uncontested for now. Alliance, like, this is so spooky, because all you see right now for T1 is clinks. You know the rest of the squad is hunting, and I like this decision to counter smoke. They're still incredible at team fights. Like, if T1 can just get a fight, there's no GA. No, it's back up.
Yep, it's back up, and Helm of the Overlord is also up. with the big fat golem giving that extra HP. Limp jumps in, gets instantly hexed though, but there's the barrage into the huge epicenter. Burrow strike combination with the Wukong's command to follow, but GA to try to counter. Now 23 Savage and T1 as a whole on the run. It looks like 23 Savage will get out for now, but they've lost 3. And Carl's going to run right into Limp, and that is going to be 4 deaths. Oh, wait.
Limp?
All right, use that on some creeps. Just wants to get some farm in the meantime. Limp's just too good at Tiny. He's just multitasking the whole time.
Yeah, it's the spell damage. You know, T1, their lineup is kind of reliant on momentum, and these fights... Oh, no, not again. The toss back?
Yeah, toss back onto the range creep. He's going to try to right-click his way out here. You can see Finger trying to be used from Whitemon. He's going to use it, and Limp is getting extremely low, but there's a Purification, and Monkey King goes down, and this might be another death for Whitemon if he's not careful. So T1 just not able to find 1 kill in this engagement at all.
They don't have that real initiator, right? They have the Leshrac moving forwards, but you're going to watch this tower defense. You know, Alliance are just ready, and they're ready faster. And keep in mind, the Monkey King Wukong, it doesn't really exist as this fight. Like, it's a perfect Wukong's command, but you see the GA immediately, and all of a sudden, that is a worthless spell. The Roar comes out onto a target that's already been graced, so Limp's just back up and running immediately. And unfortunately, the supports, like, you don't have that initiation potential. So S4 with that 3-man Burrow Epi, like, that's the end of the fight.
Yeah, very clean play. Great initiation, or I guess you should say the secondary initiation from S4 coming in with that enormous combo. Carl now in the bot lane. S4 wants to continue the pressure here. You can see the burning barrage with the Burrow Strike to set it up, and down goes Carl again. Yeah, burning barrage seems pretty good.
It's very good.
Dire's middle tower.
Hey, just lower the, damage percentage and it's probably fine. I mean, it's at, what is it, 60% right now, right? Is there a talent for it? Doesn't look like it. He gets more arrows, actually, so it doesn't change the percentage. I don't know, 40% sounds about right.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of this hero that has kind of not existed for the last 10 years to just have some sort of farming potential, to be able to be an actual hero.
Well, it just needs to be toned down. I think it's a great change because the issue with Clinks historically is just you don't farm anything. It's like a CK, but the ranged form, whereas now it's just overtuned. Like, no problem with the ability, but it's just too strong.
It's actually similar to Tiny in a lot of ways, where back in the day you'd have to get Avatos combos on Tiny to be able to do anything, whereas technically you can pivot to a right clicker, right? And Clinks was kind of this snowball hero for the longest time as well, but...
They got vision up top, so they're going to just follow their Clinks pre-graced.
They see Cuckoo, Whitemon as well. They'll focus on Whitemon for now, and that'll be an easy one. Another burning barrage from afar. Nico Baby having himself a pretty good game overall.
Yeah, the Scotty's just so devastating. Now with bottom tower taken, they can secure the outpost and then likely look to bait a fight and or just go Roche.
Yep.
But don't count T1 out. I mean, they're not out of this, but it is a little rough. 23 Savage, he has Echo Saber, Deso, but the trouble is that's just doubling down on his physical damage, right? And they're playing into Omni Knight. There's a reason this hero is a top pick. And if you don't kill him off, like FNG is just going to say, oh, GA.
Yeah.
Good try with your...
In theory, they do have the damage. They just don't have the catch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, does Beastmaster have the blink yet? He's going for that next, so 400 away from that. But then again, even if you, your hard counter technically, if you're not finding Omni Knight, because you have that Heavenly Grace.
Yeah, the other thing is the Scotty is super critical here just also because of the healing and lifesteal reduction. So Leshrac, he's actually not going to go for the Eternal Shroud. I think partially because of this, just going BKB fast instead, but it's also effective against a Monkey King who doesn't have that ability to reset his HP with a well-timed slam. Or Boundless Strike, I don't know. Couldn't place the ability.
Slam, I think you're thinking of Pandemonium.
Possibly. It's good point. That's a great
hero. Yeah,
that was a great hero.
I feel like Valve could just buy a bunch of these heroes from Han.
It wouldn't cost very much. Tell me how we had a Samuel L. Jackson announcer pack.
Yeah.
And then taunts. I mean,
the taunts are on another level.
Yeah, we can't let OG get into the taunts. That would be...
That's true. That would actually break people.
Yeah.
Because it was quite hardcore.
You would do it on somebody. I think one was like you literally dropped like a garbage can on them.
And garbage can, and then a baby's head comes out and all.
Yeah. And Samuel L. Jackson says dumpstered.
Yeah. They were a next level for sure. They were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
As Nico, Baby, and company are in very good control of this game. 14-3, only 3 kills for T1. As
Alliance, I mean, the smoke usage from Alliance has been on point, right? I feel like almost all of their kills came off of movements from the cover, the Smoke of Deceit, and now with Aegis, just push ahead and got to get a new Death Pact. It's another cool quality of life chains for Clinks is that once you're level 18, there's 0% downtime.
Yeah, I never liked the idea of this spell, especially back in the day, because it's just like, I got to go into the jungle, find a creep. Now it's a little bit more convenient. And the fact that it doesn't break your invisibility, big quality of life change as well.
It's like a more tedious God Strength from Sven.
Yeah.
It fades and it's like, oh, sorry guys, 30 seconds, I'm useless. Because Sven, at least, it's just damage, right? Whereas Clinks, it's also a survivability tool. Because your hero doesn't have enough HP without your ult running.
So from T1's perspective, like what is the, I mean, we talked about the Blink Dagger for Cuckoo, which he actually went Force Staff. He pivoted a bit here. Like, what is their angle to try to get back into this game, you think?
It's tough. Like, we saw when they killed Nico Baby how the Monkey King can be an answer of sorts, but the trouble is now you don't seem to have the tools to get onto the back line. S4's played quite well. Limp's doing a great job frontlining, and if you don't find the Omni, then you don't even need to bother trying to kill Clinks. And I love that choice from Limp, just getting a very early AC, controlling the armor, controls the amount of physical damage. This T1 lineup, the problem is that it's built around momentum. They don't have like great pickoff, but theoretically if they got ahead, they'd have this overwhelming amount of damage. Whereas right now, it just kind of feels bad because they want to be like pushing as 5, and instead they're trying to split push the map.
I mean, that's kind of what they have to do, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like the split pushing just feels, I mean, you have to do it and the farm is not going to be great, because you're giving up so much as a result. And it's funny because when we see this Helm of the Overlord, that's part of the split pushing, right? But the Dragon is kind of a big deal. Right now they have the Golem, which, would you consider that the worst of the 3?
I definitely prefer the Dragon. Yeah, no, it is worse than 3 because the Triceratops is 75 attack speed.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
And it has a slam to, kind of clear creep waves to a degree.
And that's what would have made T1's draft, like, terrifying, right? Because Monkey King, yeah, he maybe only has Echo Deso, but theoretically, you're pushing with the Triceratops, he has, like, plus 120 attack speed because he's near the Beastmaster, and just kills everything.
All right, as we see another kill here, this time on Zephyr. Yep, there's the throw from Limp.
Meanwhile, Clinks.
Yep. Barrage is there. Man, he is doing so much damage.
What a
I'm not
balanced
sure he can find a
ability.
kill here, but... Forces
look at FNG. Even they know.
Yeah, he's going to get nerfed. All right, so of the Ancient Creeps, as we see another kill here, this time it's a pretty big one, but we're going to ignore it, Kyle.
Yes.
As we always do in my cast, at least. If the Prowler was in, where would he rank in neutrals?
Very situational, because it removed, like, all your base armor,
It's like
right?
a Dispel and a Root,
Yeah.
right?
I think it'd be probably still ahead of the Golem, but not great.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. As we can see, the replay here, 23 Savage just soloed. Not really much. He tried to TP out.
Oh my god, he literally got solo killed.
Yeah, as we're going to see a toss back in. Carl pops that BKB, but just getting completely right-click down, and this is looking mega over a Gaben level shellacking, I want to say.
Clinks Dota, but also well played. I mean, Alliance, they had to execute the draft. It's a steamroll, sure, but that's because they found kills. They got blinks and then just racked up kill after kill after kill. If they don't do that, this game can be a bit grim, and the pressure and the wave of T1 could obliterate them, but instead it's just all Alliance all game. 18-3.
Yep,
Limp
as the
Tiny
Aegis is taken. So this is going to be a double racks, and I mean, you've been a captain in the past. I'm sure there's some level from T1's side at least that they want to try to play against Clinks to see if they can figure it out. Obviously didn't work this time around. Is that kind of a thought process that comes about?
Maybe a little bit,
Especially
yeah.
when you've made it to TI.
Yeah, like they're just trying stuff out, but like I don't want to read, I don't want to be a BSJ here and read into pubs all that much.
Okay.
But when you watch streams and you see Sumail and Thompson, like even Gork spamming this hero and winning
Even
games,
Gork.
there might be something up. Like I think Sumail went like 4-0, 5-0 with this hero.
Actually, Synderen was very adamant when you said that he did beat him yesterday against the Clinks.
Well,
So he lost one time at least. Still a high percentage. Whenever Cinderin wins,
and
it's just a fluke.
but the thing, yeah, well, it's Synderen. I mean, this guy, he's played at TI. He's a professional player.
He's a DreamHack champion twice.
Really?
You didn't know that? MTW?
Dota?
Yeah, and then Honey Badgers. He beat Na'Vi once. Like the fabled Na'Vi.
Interesting.
Puppy, Dendy, all of them.
I remember the last time he played against Denny. That didn't go so well.
Well, things have changed.
Pick me Necrophos, he said. I'll beat Mars.
Oh,
Three deaths later.
All right, Force Staff onto the low ground. Oh, they actually will burst down FNG. We'll see how much difference that actually makes here. Double BKB popped from T1. There's the Wukong's command, but nobody is within the ring. So it just delays a bit here.
Don't even need the GA.
It's 23 Savage on the tree. S4, not aware. They can just wait for FNG if they really want. See how cocky they are. I mean, they don't have Aegis. They could just wait for second roast. There's no real rush here for Alliance.
Yeah, they're going to probably play it safe. They got a great ward in base, though.
Oh, all right, Burrow Strike initiation with the Burning Barrage and a couple of weird Force Staffs there. Ping pong essentially there for
they killed 3 O's.
for Cuckoo. Yeah, they're dropping real fast. Oh, there's the Ancient Steel. Monkey King can't do much about this. There's the Mystic Flare on top of it. Limp jumps in just to be able to teabag his enemy. And now with the buyback onto the Beastmaster, looks like it's going to be a dieback. Double kill for Nico Baby. GG's finally called. And truly a Gaben level shellacking. This was not even close from the beginning. Alliance very handily win this game.
And this was a great just execution of the game plan, though. Like, it was not... Like, this was a 2 to 3K lead for T1.